Hi friends, it's Angie Gartner in cardiopulmonary. I've got Bob here, my other therapist that's going to help me. And first of all, we just want to say we thank you for being amazing healthcare workers and fighting in the COVID team with us. We are doing this video to kind of go back over and review the PAPR devices to help you. We've all had some initial training and maybe yearly trainings, but we all know how we can easily forget that if we're not using it. And so we just kind of want to talk about the two different devices. And so the first device we're going to talk about is the AirMate. Now, both of these devices work off a battery, so it's important that we plug it in after usage to preserve the battery life. So the AirMate looks like this. It has a built-in HEPA filter in the back here, and so you don't have to worry about a filter, adding on a filter at this unit. Each device has its own hose and different hoods that fit each device. And so it's real important to know which device you're using so that you know the correct hose and the correct hood, okay? So this device, I don't know if you can see, it's got little notches in there. And this hose has two ends. It's got an end that looks like this, and it's got an end that has this double notch. The double pins go into the notches and you put it in, but then you've got to twist and lock it in place. Now, you can check the device to make sure there's enough flow. You can check it before you hook the hood on, but more than likely, a lot of times we keep the hose connected to the device. Before you go into the room, you'll see it like that on the table outside the room. So you can check it from this as well. So the on-off button is here. You should hear good airflow. You should feel a good airflow. There is a little plastic device that's usually with the machine, and you can just kind of place it in there. If it bounces very easily in there, you feel good airflow, it is good to use, and you can go ahead and use it, okay? So I'm going to have Bob kind of show you what it looks like actually on. You're still going to use your other protective equipment, so your gown, gloves, all of that, okay? This is just your respirator. So if you were going to do this, this would be in place of your N95. So if you're going to use your N95, you use that, or you could use this PAPR device. Okay, Bob. And if you want to show them, Bob, there is different connections. This hood, a lot of the hoods look different, but the actual connection piece is the one you need to look at. So some of the connection pieces have a twist, a threading system, and others are a popping unit. The AirMate uses a popping unit. So, Bob, would you like to pop it in? Pop, pop, pop it in.
Makes a snap sound.
All right, and go ahead and if you just put that on, we will turn it on. Most hoods will sit here so you can hear breath sounds with your yellow stethoscope. Everybody's diminished and clear because you can't hear very much. No, I just threw that part in. You may hear other things. Okay, and if this fits like a fanny belt, because we all know we wore fannies if you grew up in the 80s. You want to adjust it so it fits for you, and it can, perfect. Some people will wear it in the back, some will wear it in the front. The location really is up to you. A lot of people like it in the back so they have their hands free. But really it is up to you, and you'll find that. Bob, how's that feel? Can you feel the air blowing?
You certainly can.
Now, the first time you get your hood, you may or may not have a paper on top of it. Please remove that so you don't run into any doors. We want to keep you safe. But then, as you can see, turn to the side, he still has room for that. We do have other hoods that are shrouded, and we can cut those down too. So just let us know if you still need a hood or your leader. Oh, Bob's getting fancy here with the stethoscope. Voila. All right, thanks, Bob. Okay, so when you take the device off, you can reuse the hood. So go ahead and you'll remove it. Now, your respirator should be the last thing that comes off. Clearly, you're doffing off your gown and gloves in the room, and you're coming out with the respirator. and talk to your individual leads on that. But of course you want to Perel, gloves, take off the soiled. Some people are leaving the mask on, grabbing the Oxivir wipes and wiping as they remove it as well. So there is that option. But talk to your individual leader on that process. The main thing is you do want to wipe it down with the Oxivir wipes. You wipe the whole mask. You're going to wipe the hose, the whole unit, and the belt, everything. There should be magic markers on the isolation cart. Please write your name on it. And there should be little bags that your leader will also give you that goes with your hood. Keep that hood. That hood is reusable. During your shift, the isolation carts have hooks or an IV pole, and you can hang them from there. After your shift, please put them in your personal locker or where your department is hanging them. On 3rd, they have a room. On 4th, they have a cart. ED has a special area as well. So talk to your individual leader on that. I do want to show you real quick the connection, how it looks different when you go to plug it back in. And it is a 3-prong connection, and it goes in there just like that, if you can see the 3. And there's only really one way you can put it in. So plugging in it is the key. The worst thing that can happen is if you're in the room and all of a sudden you don't feel the airflow, you could be fogging up. You would then want to question, is the battery dead? Is this malfunctioning? Remove yourself and then test the unit and or get a different one. Okay, we're going to move on to the Dover unit. This is our newer style of PAPR device. This is what it looks like before it actually is put together. There are 3 technically holes, 2 on each side that go with the HEPA filters. So as you can remember, the HEPA filter was built in on this unit. Thanks, Bob. The HEPA filters are kept off of this unit because it preserves the life of the HEPA filter. But once it goes into use, you have to apply the HEPA filters on both sides for protection, and you can leave them on the whole time while you're taking care of that patient. Then after that patient gets discharged, we can keep using them, and I'll show you when we know they are not good to using it. Again, with both units, they are operated by a battery. This is the plug-in. It's a 1 single prong on this guy. Kind of hard to find on this one. It's behind the belt, and it's right here. So it just plugs in like that. So the main thing is when we store these HEPA filters, we keep the caps on them, okay? And when we go to utilize the device and put it in service, we take them off. So Bob, will you help me out and take one off? Will you be a pal?
You bet.
Thanks, Bob. Teamwork, dreamwork here. So the main thing is you have to find the thread, and you thread it on the one side. It's kind of tricky, but once you get it on, you just slide it in. Bob, I'll let you do the next one. Okay, so the unit looks like this when the filters are on, okay? That leaves 1 hole at the top, and if you could guess, it is for the hose. So, a couple things. You can test the unit off without the hose before you go to set it up. The tester looks like this. When you turn the on-off button,
There's another one right there.
whoop,
There's another one.
I think I removed it.
Oh.
So if that happened in real life, you'd want to wipe it off. But we're just going to flow with it here. So the tester should go above the minimum flow line, and then you know it's good to go. Now, I want to show you something. If you would have forgot to remove those caps, see how that flow doesn't go up? So it's another safety thing that you need to check that, because then there's not going to be any air coming in, okay? So watch how this goes back up when the caps are off. Also, let's say you knew it was plugged in. These guys should last about 8 hours on a fully charged battery. Let's say that you knew it was plugged in, you knew the caps are off, and it's still not going up. It could be the end of life of these HEPA filters. So then you would want to call your RT or your lead, and we can get you different HEPA filters, and we can try to help manage that for you. So that's one of a couple of reasons how you know when this is probably need a new HEPA filter. Okay, more than likely though, when maybe you're the second or third nurse come in or staff member, so this hose actually is a thread hose as well, and you literally will thread it in just like the HEPA filters on this guy, and you twist and get it done. Now, more than likely when you come to the room, somebody might have set this up for you, but as a good healthcare worker, to protect yourself, you want to make sure there's enough flow for you so it doesn't stop while you're in the room. So this is the setup. Here's the hose. I need the tester, Bob. Thanks. So you can also test the unit from the hose. Got to make sure you're over the hole and not have any leakage. So then you don't have to always keep taking the hose on and off. So that's also, you should check it. You can check it on the hose if you leave the hose on. The great thing I love about this device is that there's not a pop-on, pop-off. And so the disconnect is a lot harder for the hose to come disconnected from this hood because you actually have to thread it and get it going on this hood. This hood also comes with a little clear plastic, not like a paper one. You could leave it in place or tear it off. It's really up to you. Bob, would you like to put this one on?
Certainly.
This is a much heavier unit, so you definitely want the belt. It is thicker, it is heavier. You definitely want the belt really cinched tight to you so you don't cause any back issues or any pain. Depending on how long you're in the patient's room, giving them a bath or something like that, if we would have any kind of ICU patient, you definitely want to help yourself in that way by having it really cinched up to you. Again, with this unit, you would treat it like a N95 or another respirator. You would still use your other PPE equipment and follow the procedures that are outlined by infection control or your leader.
This one was used by a very small person. On this donor unit, I also like to leave it sitting. It's a much heavier unit than their one, so I leave it on the counter and then back myself up to it. But if you have a friend, it's much easier to help you with.
Hold on, Bob. We've got the, there we go for it. A little tricky here in the RT world. We're just flying by our pants here. Okay, thanks. Good job, Bob.
Turn it on, because I can't remember.
That's why a lot of people will start up front and then they can turn it around, so your access to your on-off button. This hood, this particular hood, now we have about 3 to 4 styles of hoods. And so they may or may not look similar to this. Again, Bob, if you turn, this one actually has a little plastic there that will sit nicely on there. Some people have pointed out, let me take this off, sorry Bob, that if this was anything really loose, you could maybe safety pin the top of this and make this tighter. That's never a problem that I have encountered, but some of the nursing staff has mentioned that to me. So you could somehow tighten this up top, tighten that up, and it could sit a little tighter underneath you. At the end of the day, if you have any questions or concerns, you just call Respiratory Therapy 6801 and we will come and help you. We want you to stay safe, we want you to stay healthy, and we're one big old team here. Thanks for all you do. Bye.